everybody is making their way to this stadium by car, by helicopter and by train, because it's Australia, or Ausdrill, against New Zealand. It's the last game of the day. No love lost between these two teams. Plenty of love in the commentary box, Mel Clulo and Ashley Morrison.
Thanks very much, Chris. It should be a battle royale, Australia versus New Zealand, trans-Tasman rivals. It's been a really close battle between these two in recent times, and the games and the results have gone either way. Today, though, is a must-win game for both of them if they want to be at the top end of the Champions Trophy ladder and have a chance of playing in the final at the end of the week. The umpires make their way out, Francis Block and Stephanie Judefine from the USA and Great Britain. Now the players come out. Anita McLaren has been given the captain's armband for the Black Sticks. Madonna Blythe wears it for the Hockeyroos. Plenty of support from expats based here in London for both sides. We'll have the national anthems before we get everything underway. First national anthem will be the national anthem of Australia. We are going to have a presentation first, and that's Carrie McMahon. Her 100th appearance today comes from Berry in South Australia. Applause
and please remain standing.
The national anthem of New Zealand.
Of New Zealand.
Good to see a foreign coach knowing the national anthem of the team that he coaches. Mark Hagar singing along to the New Zealand national anthem. Obviously, Mark Hagar, originally from Australia, was the leading goal scorer for them before Jamie Dwyer took his record away from him. We'll take a look now at the lineups for this match, and first of all we'll look at Australia. Rachel Lynch starts under the bar. Georgina Morgan will be a key from penalty corners, as well as Jodie Kenny. Up front is where Australia need to fire. Mariah Williams, Emily Smith and Georgie Parker need to get amongst the goals, and they need to not rely on penalty corner conversions. Looking at the New Zealand team, well, Brooke Neal was rock solid in the back. Stacey Mickelson is always lively going forward, and so too is Sophie Cox and Anita McLaren, and they need to feed the forward line of Olivia Merry, Petrea Webster and Charlotte Harrison. Take a look at the substitutes for both teams, and they both got good benches. Look out for Grace Stewart, as we said, wearing number 30 for Australia. She's a goal-scoring machine, has 8 goals in her 17 matches for the Hockeyroos so far. And also look for Kirsten Pearce. She could pop up with a goal every now and again for New Zealand. Pushback not far away. Carrie McMahon celebrating her 100th cap for the Hockeyroos. It's worth mentioning that she started age 6 but didn't grow to love the game until she was 15 years of age. So she stuck with it for a while. She is on screen, had a broken jaw last year, double fracture. She's come back well. It will be Australia to push back. Australia in their traditional green and gold, the Black Sticks in their traditional black. This is a game that means so much to both these nations. I'm Ashley Morrison, alongside me. Former, well, no, never a former, always an Olympian, aren't you? Double Olympian, Mel Clulo.
Hello, it's good to be here. Looking forward to this one, actually. I think it's hopefully it's going to be quite a fast, open, expansive game.
Let's hope so. Mickelson on the ball. Double teaming at the top of the circle by the Australians. These two did meet just a few weeks ago in the Darwin International Hockey Open, and New Zealand absolutely dominated the pool game and were 1-0 up, and then in the second half Adam Commins switched a few things around and Australia came out and won 2-1, but the final was a very different affair. New Zealand winning 2-0. Just shows how fine the margins are between these two teams. Mickelson confident inside the circle.
Not sure Mark Hager would see it that way, having a player in his own circle, basically with the ball in the air, trying to change the direction. But we've seen Stacey Mickelson also playing up front, so we know she's got those skills.
McLaren, as Adam Commins, the coach of Australia, looks on. Adam Commins, 143 caps for Australia, 20 goals. Now it's Australia struggling to play the ball out of their circle, so there's a little bit of push and shove as well afterwards between Petrea Webster and Madonna Blythe. Georgie Parker, who missed the Darwin series with an injury. Can't keep that in play. She is a goal scorer, though, Mel, for Australia. She just needs to get a nice run of games under her belt.
I think with any striker, it's the confidence that is the one that gets you the goal.
Great chance for Australia. Brilliant save. In fact, it's gone in. Well, Rutherford came out well, but it went up in the air, and Emily Smith has the opener. And Australia lead 1-0. Thought it was going to go over for a second, Mel.
I mean, it's the perfect start, isn't it? The drive forwards here, and arguably Mariah Williams probably wanted to trap that, but whether Emily Smith gave her a call underneath or not, I don't know. Sally Rutherford does everything she can, really, in the goal. She's got no idea where it's gone, and unfortunately for her, it's just bounced behind her and gone in the goal. Perfect start for Australia, just to calm some nerves. Probably exactly what the game needs.
Mark Hager, I'm sure, will be absolutely fuming with that goal, because defensively, New Zealand were at 6s and 7s.
I think New Zealand had obviously set up their outlet thinking they were going to keep possession, and then all of a sudden it's basically a 3 versus the last defender, and with an Australian team, there's normally only one outcome.
Thompson into the body of the Australian player, but the Australian forward line applying a lot of pressure on the Black Sticks defence at the moment, and restricting their outlet. Looked as if it came off the foot of Gunson, but play on was the call. McLaren breaks forward. Blythe looks to close down. It's a good touch. Well, then it's going to be a penalty corner. wasn't such a good touch from Georgina Morgan. First penalty corner of the match, a great chance for New Zealand to pull level. Usually it is Claren, Mary, the options. Neil is another option, and she's made her way forward for the Black Sticks. So Neil is at the first battery, Claren at the second. They go to McLaren. Good stop. Now it's back to Neil. Good block. Another penalty corner. It's a little bit slow, the movement inside the circle.
Just not sure if teams are trying too much. You know, Holland have been effective in this tournament because basically they've gone off the top, or it's been a simple deflection on the far post. But I've seen a number of teams just trying to outsmart their opponent when they don't really need to.
He's also trying to keep something up their sleeve for Rio at the moment, it strikes me, but McLaren just shifts a little bit now. Will she go direct? Yes, she does, and she equalises, just as Mel Clulo said, keep it simple, and you'll get the rewards. New Zealand back on level terms, their captain firing home into the left-hand corner.
It's fantastic execution. The little movement at the top just opens up that angle, but it's a fantastic drag flick by Anita McLaren into that corner. You can almost see the ball, certainly from behind, the swerve that she manages to generate. And it just goes to show that you don't need to be the tallest or necessarily the biggest player in the team to be able to drag flick, and it's an absolutely fantastic goal.
So we've had 2 goals within a minute, and it's all level already. You were predicting a lot of goals, Mel.
I think both teams just like to play expansive hockey, and both teams actually keep it fairly simple. It's get it, give it, and get ahead of the ball. So those people that have stayed behind after the GB Holland game could be in for a treat.
Well, be certainly if we maintain the number of goals we've had in the opening minutes, as Hawks breaks forward down the left-hand side for the Black Sticks. Put it into the foot, plays on quickly. Not allowed to tackle her for 5 metres. It comes across, it was a good ball, shot just wide. Well, Harrison had a great chance to make it 2-1 in favour of New Zealand.
Brilliant drive forward here, and great play by Gemma Flynn, just pulling it into the danger area. And obviously the only criticism you can have from Charlotte Harrison there is that it needed to go across the goal, but she's tried to do the right thing.
Didn't get her body round enough, did she, to get the shot away?
Yeah, no, but she tried to go into her backspace, which is great. That's where the space was, so she's rolled the ball in there, squeezed it down into the turf, but as you say, she just didn't open up the shoulders enough to put it into that far corner.
We've had chances at both ends, and we're only just approaching the 5th minute of the match. Both these teams ranked 3 and 4 in the world. Australia at 3 at the moment, New Zealand at 4. A lot of people saying that New Zealand are a real medal chance come Rio, to give trouble to the Netherlands and Argentina.
I would agree. I think that the ladies' competition is going to be a really close affair. You know, New Zealand made it to the final of the World League in Argentina, and I think it's exciting times for women's hockey. And you know, the Dutch are always everybody's favourites when they go into the tournament. But you know, there's 3 medals up for grabs, and there's no reason why New Zealand can't grab one of those.
Kenny can't keep the ball in play. I was talking to Mark Hager in Darwin, and he was saying he felt that the team had got over that hump of believing they can challenge in big tournaments. And sometimes it is, you've got the talent, it's just that belief where the players believe they can win.
Yeah, and I think getting to that final in Argentina was one of those hurdles that he's talking about. You know, we have to remember in Beijing they finished in 12th position. You know, and then suddenly in London they made it through to the semi-finals. So he's done a fantastic job with this group of players, and he has kept the core players exactly the same. And it's that experience and the big tournament experience that will count in when they get to Rio.
Talk about the job he's done. He's taken them from 12th in the world to 4th in the world as Australia break. Good defence though. And now New Zealand get the chance to come forward. Mary's gone wide. Kelsey Smith, who was a late replacement in Darwin and has really shone since she's come into the Black Sticks team. So, nice hit cross coming from Kirsten Pearce, but it will be still alive for the Black Sticks, although a short pass from Webster made King have to scurry. She did well to keep possession. Comes to Neal. Neal's pass is cut out well by Claxton, and now it is carried forward by Grace Stewart. King just gets a touch. Parker coming in. Free hit Australia. And the crowd very quiet. Short pass, Claxton. Still alive, it's going to fall to Slattery. She just couldn't get the touch. She's in the right position.
I think one thing I like about Catherine Slattery is it doesn't matter where the ball bounces to her in the circle. She's always trying to get something on the ball, or something on goal, sorry, and there's not many that would try that. They would somehow try and get their feet around or get it into the perfect position, but anywhere that it's bouncing, she's going to try and get a shot away.
Saw her this morning having a coffee, had a bit of a chat with her. She desperate for a win today. Was very disappointed with the way they played yesterday. New Zealand, though, into the corner, got themselves a long corner. In fact, it's not a long corner, it's going to be a free hit. New Zealand thought it was a long corner, and Ella Gunson had taken it. Makes me feel a bit better. Gemma Flint going in hard. Australia coming up with the ball, and that's just played away by Edwina Bone, away from the danger area. Neal to King. King was put under good pressure. That was great running by Mariah Williams. Not maybe the best of passes.
No, I'd imagine Julia King was probably wanting that ball to be passed on to the forehand rather than having an Australian running at you. But she did well, she trapped it and managed to keep possession for the Black Sticks.
King doesn't strike me as the sort to actually have a go at a player. She seems far too polite and nice to do that. Had a spell with Surbiton playing over here in London.
Yeah, she played against her in the Premier League finals, and she picked up the player of the match in that final last year, and she was a great addition for their club. But she actually ran around up front for Surbiton, so seeing her in the back line, beginning to wish she'd played there when we had to play against her at club.
Well, 6.5 minutes remaining. The frenetic start has calmed down a bit as Madonna Blythe plays it forward, looking for the run of Mariah Williams, but it just goes too far ahead. And the forwards for Australia certainly working very, very hard. Applying pressure. Gunson with Parker ahead of her. Now Slattery comes in. New Zealand hemmed in the corner. New Zealand have never won the Champions Trophy. This is their 12th tournament. The best they've ever finished is 3rd in 2011. It's been quite a while since they actually won it. 2003, and they've won 6 titles. Webster. Run from McLaren, so it'll go over the side and be Australia's ball. Kenny looks to play on, barges into Cox. Gets the pass away. Really high press from Australia at the moment. It looks as if it's paid dividends. Was that into the foot? Yes, it was, but advantage played. Madonna Blythe loses out, top of the circle. Now it's Pearce. Just didn't get the connection she was looking for. Harrison tries to steal it away from Morgan. Morgan comes to Morgan again now. Over the top.
This is how we're used to seeing Australia play, which is putting the high press on. There's nothing worse as one of the backline players looking up and seeing 6 or 7 yellow shirts and you're trying to get the ball out.
There's a bright shirt to be coming at you, so you'd see it in your peripheral vision, definitely. Anita McLaren breaks forward now for the Black Sticks, feeds the ball to Pearce. Pearce tries the diagonal pass, was looking for the run of Flynn. Flynn puts pressure on, so too does Harrison. It's got free. Can a shot come in? It does, but it goes wide. It's good pressure, though, from Charlotte Harrison.
Jodie Kenny does really well here to basically keep her body out the way and just use the stick. But it's fantastic skills by Charlotte Harrison, and she's, again, really unfortunate not to get something on target.
I just wonder whether she might have left it, but she was so determined. She'd done so well to wing the ball. It's often hard to pull out, isn't it, in that situation?
Absolutely, and I think any striker, when they're in the circle, you want to see them taking those shots if the opportunity is there.
Stewart working away along the baseline. Managed to get the ball away to Mariah Williams. Just noticed Emily Smith is not wearing her headband that she's been wearing for a while now. Maybe she's looking for a new sponsorship deal.
Well, she scored a goal, so is she going to wear? Is the headband going to reappear at some point?
Have to wait and see. Oh, mishit pass, and Peris picks it up. Peris breaking forward. McLaren gives chase. She goes past King. Peris gets to the baseline. Peris fires it into the pad through the legs. How did Rutherford save that?
It's almost as if Julia King and then I think it's Anita McLaren there. They almost look scared to make the tackle once Peris is so in control, coming down that baseline. Neither of them really wanted to make the tackle. Rutherford does well, and I think it's Thompson behind her that clears it.
The whistle went because Peris actually hit the pads of the keeper. So it was deemed a little bit dangerous. McLaren now carries forward. And again, it's a misplaced pass. Smith belts it forward, and it was a long, long way from Stewart. New Zealand just not getting their passes at the moment. Interesting that Adam Commons was saying that New Zealand has speed in midfield and we've got to stop them with those counter-attacks. I just wonder if it is that defensive structure at the moment that's preventing them getting those counter-attacks at pace.
Yeah, but I think you've just, you alluded it there with Anita McLaren. It's that pass. It's the attention to detail when you are running through the midfield. She is one of the fastest female players, in the game. And sometimes you just need that composure to almost just slow yourself down and be 100% certain when you're passing the ball to a teammate.
It's been interesting how Mark Hagar has shifted the captaincy around, and he wanted her to focus on her game. I actually think she plays better when she's captain because she is so proud of wearing that captain's armband, and she lifts.
Oh, it's a massive honour, isn't it, to not only play for your country but to captain it as well. But I like what he is trying to do, which is create that captaincy, that leadership group. Whether that will continue into Rio, I don't know. But we saw in the USA today, they've lost Lauren Crandall as their captain, their talisman, and their sort of the driving force behind it. And you just wonder how much that has an effect on the team.
Mel, some people really grow into the role, embrace it. Others, it's a little bit daunting for them. Even if they are in a leadership group, when they get out on the pitch, they don't like that responsibility.
I think if you are one of those players, I think that you offer your leadership skills in many different ways, and if it is off the field, then that's made perfectly clear to you. I want you to do this role off the pitch, but the moment we get on the field, you worry about your game. Don't worry, you won't be given the armband.
That's something that Rick Charlesworth did very well when he was coach of the Hockeyroos. We're getting close to the end of the first quarter. It's honours even at the moment. Another mishit pass in the midfield from the Black Sticks. Adam Commins looking very relaxed at the moment. This is his penultimate tournament in charge of the Hockeyroos. He has already tendered his resignation after the Rio Games, returning to Belgium with his wife, who is Belgian, and their newborn baby, born last Wednesday. So our congratulations go to him and his wife. The crowd count down the final seconds. New Zealand don't even bother playing the ball in. The players make their way off for the end of the first quarter. Australia taking the lead, but New Zealand pegging them back immediately. Score at the first break, Australia 1, New Zealand 1. This was the first goal. Again, it was a misplaced pass, and then the defender came out. Rutherford did really well to try and close Smith down, but the ball ricocheted up off her pads. There was little she could do. She just had to hope it would drop over the crossbar. It didn't. It dropped under. But within a minute, New Zealand won a penalty corner, and they got a retake, and Anita McLaren fired it to the left-hand side of Rachel Lynch, and it was virtually impossible for her to save. Read the notes for the New Zealanders. Give early. Al's reading that closely.
Yeah, I mean, some of the messages that he's got on there, again, is keeping the game very simple. He wants them to give the ball early, and then he wants them to, I think, to exploit the left foot of the Aussies. And, you know, I like it. One coach is there with the words, and Adam Cummins has drawn probably drawings that his new child would understand.
Well, I was going to say, yeah, even Picasso might be able to sell that one. Look like alphabetti spaghetti.
It looks like they're either going to attack and defend right down one side, though.
Very one-sided, definitely. Well, we'll have to wait and see whether the girls understood those drawings. Sure, they've seen plenty. Going to go pitch side, though, because Adam Commons is with Abby Griffiths.
Yeah, now, Adam, you mentioned wanting to contain New Zealand's counter-attack. Happy with the team's measure on that?
I think they've done pretty well so far. Their counter is always very dangerous, and we've done okay. What we need to do is be more effective with our counter-attack.
Good luck.
Thanks.
Nanscorn to push back for the start of the second quarter. Can she have an impact on this match? I must admit, player I really enjoy, such a tenacious battler.
Yeah, I actually enjoyed watching her play in the World League in Argentina, because Adam Commons actually played her in midfield a little bit. And I think she's one of those that wants the ball, and when she is on the ball, she makes things happen. And by playing her in the midfield, she gets on the ball a lot more, and she's given options both behind her and in front of her.
Deflected up, Nanscorn on the ball, now turns her body around, trying to get inside the circle. Good challenge coming in from Neil. Long corner to Australia. Harris comes across to take it. Morgan lifts it out onto the right-hand side. Sablovsky fires it across. Good touch. McLaren now cleaning up inside the circle. Good to see her back helping out. Pepper Hayward just had it ricochet off her stick. Kettle helping it down the side. McLaren involved again, but penalised. In fact, it was Gemma Flint penalised for shielding the ball. So Australia can apply the pressure. Nance is going to go over the baseline, long corner. Donna Blythe looking for options. She may have to go back, but Webster was limiting that option. Lovely turn from Brooke Peris. Brooke Peris goes in there. Again, it's a good tackle inside the circle. Trying to dribble the ball out is Stacey Mickelson, but decision goes Australia's way. Madonna Blythe into the turf. Morgan slips it in. Deflection came off Emily Smith, but this time it went wide.
Again, it's just a great bit of improvisation. It's a lovely lead by Emily Smith to get in front of Brooke Neal, and then using the pace that's been generated by the ball coming in just to make that deflection.
Good steal by Madonna Blythe, looking to feed Nanscorn. She sweeps it to the back post. Looked as if it hit the shin. It is going to be a penalty corner. Rose Kettle will be annoyed with herself.
I think it's been a great start to the game, actually, by Madonna Blythe. And Nanscorn, again, the bobbling ball in is so difficult for defenders, especially when you've got an attacker behind you. And I think disappointment definitely for Rose Cadal that she can actually make that trap. But it's the pressure again that Australia are putting on New Zealand by winning the ball much higher up the field.
Slattery, as you alluded to, waiting at the back post. She is a real goal poacher. Sablovsky makes her way down to the baseline. Morgan and Kenny wait. Kenny at the first battery, Morgan at the second. Sweeps in, goes to Kenny. Kenny sweeps towards goal. Kenny scores. Australia have taken the lead. Arm raised. We've seen that so many times from Jodie Kenny. Well executed, low to the keeper's right.
Again, it's a shift at the top, just as the ball is injected, opens up that side fantastically well, but that is just pinpoint accuracy, hitting the sideboard. There's not really anything that Sally Rutherford can do in the goal there for New Zealand. I think the difference is we saw Casey Sablovsky, the way that she walks into the injection, and it means that it gives the trapper and Jodie Kenny on the top maybe half a second to a second longer to actually execute the corner.
It's interesting, it's a different technique, isn't it? We often see people just sweeping the ball in, but they step into it before they play it. So New Zealand have to come from behind again as Sophie Cox breaks forward. Marshalled all the way by Edwina Bone. Obstruction again against New Zealand. Australia winning the possession at the moment, just shading that. Also getting slightly more circle penetrations. Certainly they've started the second quarter a little bit better than the Black Sticks. So obviously the girls did understand those squiggles. One corner goes Australia's way again. Morgan lifts it out to Kenny on the left-hand side, brings it under control. Another free hit going their way as the stick came out of the hand of Kelsey Smith in a bump. Rahn playing out 100th game. Gives and gets the ball back, helps it forward to Kenny. Kenny tries to go inside Smith. Mann closed down by Webster, has to go all the way back to Bone. Just helped forward by Morgan.
I think it's been a really, really positive start by the Hockeyroos, and the Black Sticks have really struggled to actually get any pattern of play or momentum going, and they're working so hard to win possession, and then when they do win it, they're just giving it back to Australia.
Stacey Mickelson has it now in the corner to tricky area, and again we see Australia applying really good pressure. Smith was going to stretch, she just turned to make herself available as the pass was pushed. Jodie Kenny goes infield. Claxton looks up, then drills it into the circle. There's a good initial trap by Thompson and then cleared up behind her. Cox thought it was her free hit, but Perez plays on and runs straight into Cox. And that's good umpiring because Sophie Cox wasn't making any attempt to play the ball. Brooke Perez just ran straight into it.
It's just great to see the umpires communicating with the players, and she knows next time not to run straight at her.
Absolutely, just swerve. But Australia really on top at the moment in this match. So New Zealand just need to keep possession for a little spell. Rose Kettle trying to find a way up the left-hand side, but was dispossessed. Good work from Claxton, but it's back with Gemma Flynn. Australia win the ball back once more. That's just pushed too far ahead of Mariah Williams.
I think the contrast in the two teams as well is when Australia pick the ball up or they turn it over from New Zealand, they're looking to move the ball straight away with a pass, whereas New Zealand, whenever they seem to get possession at the moment, they're trying to run. They're almost going individually on a solo crusade and not really utilising the support that's around them.
Reaching almost the halfway point of the second quarter. Slattery tries to take a touch, which then she can run onto, but was cleaned up very well at the back. Drilled forward, Claxton missed it, but it will still be Australia's ball from halfway and on the side. Kenny tried to fire it down. Kelsey Smith did well to reach out and bring that back. Merry looking for the run of Flynn. Got a touch, but Dwyer with a strong challenge, and Dwyer getting the better of Olivia Merry. Umpires being very specific where they want the free hits to be taken from. Understandably, Madonna Blythe was a fair way from the infringement, but they thought that meter's not too bad. Nanscorn now in space, gets the chance to run at Hayward.
Just got a bit scrappy, really, hasn't it? The last 5 minutes, lots of turnovers, lots of umpire whistles going.
Claxton has brought that down and looks to launch another attack. Rebound comes back to Nance. Nance feeds it inside the circle. Good pass from Nanscorn back to Nance. Scrambling clear from New Zealand. Comes to Gemma Flint. Australia have not managed to win it back. We've got a strong blast, and I think Abby Griffiths has a special guest for us up in the crowd.
Yep, I'm with Georgie Twigg. I know both you and Hannah are getting food on board at the moment, but watching New Zealand play, you're up against them on Tuesday. What are you noticing at the moment?
We know that they're a very fast side, so we know that their counter-attack is their threat. But like all the sides here, we know what their strengths are, but we also know what their weaknesses are. So looking forward to the game in 2 days' time.
Thanks, Georgie.
Thank you.
Thanks, Abby. Another attack thwarted by Australia, and they come on the counter-attack. Stewart plays it forward. Nanscorn looking to cut infield, but annoyed with herself, just lost it for a second as King sweeps the ball out to Harrison on the right-hand side. Harrison was looking for the run of Flint, but good covering defence from Morgan. Morgan goes infield to Madonna Blythe and then gets the ball back right on the baseline. Australia happy to just play a nice little neat triangle, the ball out of defence. Just at the moment, New Zealand just seeing a little pedestrian going forward. We talk about them as a counter-attacking side, but it's very, very slow when they are coming forward.
And I think a lot of the counter-attacking has actually come wide, so they're picking the ball up maybe 3-4 metres from the sideline, so therefore the forwards are being asked to make longer lead runs rather than actually trying to attack the top of the Australian circle.
Good work by Claxton. McLaren penalised. Well, McLaren's going to get a card, I think. Is she? No.
I would card her. 32. 32.
So McLaren is in fact going to get a card. So Anita McLaren, the captain, will spend a couple of minutes on the side, so New Zealand down to 10.
I have no idea what she's complaining about. Maybe apart from where the ball is taken from, which is all of about 2 yards ahead of it, but you can't do that. You can't give the umpire any reason to send you off.
It was fairly clear cut.
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't taken from the exact spot, and I understand that, but my understanding of it is in the attacking quarters is when the umpires really should be looking to get the ball exactly on the spot. The rest of the time they allow it to be within 2-3 metres of the actual incident, and she's smiling about it now.
Anita McLaren will have a few minutes to think about her error of judgment.
You can also understand her frustration, though, because we saw a minute ago Madonna Blythe tried to take a quick one. Francis blocked the umpire, pulled it back, and then Jodie Kenny was moved, and it's just the consistency, I guess, is what the players are looking for.
Well, Georgia Nanscorn has got a yellow card.
The ball into her foot.
Nanscorn, well, if looks could kill. The eyes narrowed as she looked at the umpire. That said it all. So both teams currently down to 10. Australia will be down to 10 a little bit longer, so can New Zealand get back in the match? Carried forward by Mickelson. No one really showing as she played the ball forward. Ricochets off Australian sticks, but Cox get there first. So King to Thompson and wide. Back to King. There's Gunson. She decides to look for Webster, but it went to Kenny instead, and Madonna Blythe cleans up. Her captain's armband is flapping on her leg at the moment. It's come off. Smith doesn't get the decision, and Again, Thompson looks to play on quickly. Mikkelsen driving through the middle. Mikkelsen just, well, blocked at the top of the circle. Jodie Kenny just pretty much stood her ground.
It's also arguable whether, you know, she'd have got on the end of it. I'm not really sure how she was supposed to get out of the way, either player, when they're running. I'm not sure how Mikkelsen was supposed to step aside, you know, out of the way of Jodie Kenny.
I think the umpire actually got the right decision in that one.
Absolutely.
There was nowhere for Kenny to go, and Mikkelsen couldn't really change direction.
And I doubt she would have got on the end of it once she played it past Jodie Kenny.
There we go. Is it Jasper and Jess? Are they the mascots?
Correct.
Did have the mascots in the hamster wheel at half-time the other day. That was very entertaining. Paris now just hesitating, and then good acceleration from her. McLaren is back on, so New Zealand back to their full quota. Australia still down to 10. Kenny back to Madonna Blythe, most capped hockey-roo of all time. Desperation from Emily Smith to keep that in play. It's a long corner for her efforts. Now Nance gets it across to Kenny. It just ricochets off her stick and out of play. Nance up in Darwin was causing all sorts of problems to most of the teams, just running to the baseline and then cutting in. She was getting in behind the defence. Hansen to go back. Thompson back to Gunson, just had to lift it over the stick of Slattery. Hansen now in the corner. Slattery again, making life difficult for the Black Stick. Good work by Gunson, eventually gets her a free hit.
Yeah, she did really well there. Keep her composure in the bottom corner. I thought Thompson was going to look to throw an aerial at one point, and she gave it back to Gunson.
Blythe fixes, oh dear. Webster's stick went through the legs. Donna Blythe, I think, was looking for another card there. Maybe she hasn't tightened that up. It would drive you crazy flapping around like that. Maybe she has tried, and maybe the Velcro or the glue has come off as New Zealand look to launch one last attack. They're not going to have time to get the shot away as the hooter goes. That is the end of the second quarter. And Jodie Kenny has given Australia the lead in that 15-minute period. The score at half-time, Australia 2, New Zealand 1.
Yes, I'm with Jodie Kenny. A well-executed penalty corner to make your side one goal up.
Yeah, really happy. Really happy with the execution. It was nice and low and hard, and then found the net, so I'm really happy.
The tension seems to be riding high between these two sides. Is that just a long-standing rivalry?
Yeah, it's always like this against these guys. It's always a tough game, and it's a really exciting one. So we're really looking forward to the challenge of the second half.
Exciting to watch. Well done.
Thank you.
I always like to hear an interview with a gum shield in. It's always quite difficult to hear what they're saying. Australia just edging it over New Zealand. It's been an exciting first half, but that penalty corner from Jodie Kenny has just put the Aussies in the driving seat. It's the final match of day 2 of the Women's Champions Trophy, and we wondered what Australia and New Zealand would deliver. Well, we have not been disappointed. 2 cracking goals mean Australia lead New Zealand by 2 goals to 1. Match stats. 3 shots apiece, circle penetrations, Australia just edging it, and in possessions, but New Zealand have had 1 more penalty corner. Cards, well, doesn't really matter so far with the cards. So just confirmation of the results so far. Argentina very impressive against United States, winning by 4-1. The Netherlands beating a huffing and puffing Great Britain by 2-0. And Australia currently lead New Zealand by 2-1 in this match. Marsha and Sarah are with us. What did we make of that first half? It started at breathtaking pace, didn't it, Marsha?
Yeah, I think both teams just came out of the starting blocks as fast as they could, and that was quite nice to see end-to-end stuff. Australia taking the lead and New Zealand giving them, on the other end, quite a nice return to it. So I think that it was an exciting first half, but for my feeling, in particular, the first quarter was a lot more exciting than the second.
Yeah, it was such a great pace, wasn't it? Intensity in that first quarter. It might have run out of puff in the second quarter.
No, I think they've got it in their legs to do it. I'm sure of it. These girls are extremely fit and immense athletes. But I quite enjoyed the first half. I really did. I thought Australia will be pleased. Probably Adam Cummins will want more. But I think they'll be pleased. They've managed to break New Zealand down in many ways, whether that's playing into the midfield or Morgan has thrown some fantastic aerials over to forwards who've really got stretch on the game. The likes of Emily Smith and Perez attacking down the left and the right are starting to cause trouble for New Zealand defence. Yeah,
I don't know if you can see, our commentary box is here and the benches are over there. We could hear Adam Cummins from here screaming instructions, couldn't we? Let's just see the opening goal. I don't think New Zealand defensive coach will want to see this again, Marsha.
No, certainly not. You've got a player absolutely free. Pretty much it's just a one-on-one with the goalkeeper, and she does exceptionally well just to play it on goal.
Yeah. Is that the lack of concentration? Someone falling asleep? I don't know.
Yeah, I think that when you're trying to force the game, you expose yourself to those opportunities in the defence, and they got turned over in the midfield with a quick counter-attack. So there's always going to be that risk when you're trying to force the game, and especially at the pace at which they both started.
Well, this is in the opening few minutes, and the equaliser, we didn't have to wait very long, and it was a belter, wasn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. It's a really good one from Anita McLaren from the top. I mean, she's got an awesome drag flick on her, and she does pull it out of these tournaments, but look at the precision of that, and the pace as well. Top right-hand corner, as we look at the goal, the goalkeeper's got absolutely no chance to get anywhere near that.
I think Mel said it, you don't have to be 6 foot to be producing that pace, which is encouraging for anybody, right, Marsha?
Absolutely, it's all about technique and placing the ball in those difficult spots for the goalkeeper and also for the line stop. So I think she's done exceptionally well. Yeah,
from there on it was a bit more cat and mouse, wasn't it? So, everyone was a little bit more cautious, and it was one moment of brilliance from Jodie Kenny that put Australia ahead at half-time.
Yeah, they have real threats at both of their barrels of the penalty corner, but Jodie Kenny executing brilliantly here. You can see she's just taken a step to the right, which has given her that opportunity to get that ball into the bottom left-hand corner, and even with the goalkeeper full stretch, there's no way she's getting that. Some real power behind it, but you can see the Australian penalty corner then have a lot more time at the top of the circle than we've seen in the other games today, and just allowing to get that drag a lot further in. Jodie Kenny is a very tall girl,
Yeah, that's the injection, right? The key is the injection to any penalty corner.
Yeah, absolutely. If you've been training your drag flicking or hitting or any skill from the top of the D, you want to be given that opportunity to execute it as cleanly as possible. And if the injection is just not right, you're actually giving them a bad start to executing that skill.
Yeah, well, let's hear from the New Zealand bench. They're with Abby.
Now, we know that this side has great counter ability. There's only 1 goal in it. What was your advice to the team for this second half?
Oh, look, we just had to put more pressure on them at the back, and we're giving them a little bit too much time. We're a little bit out of whack with our structure, I think, and we know we'll create enough opportunities. We just got to be better, a little bit better in defence and how we put pressure on the ball.
Thanks, Mark.
No worries, thanks.
You wouldn't be panicking as the Black Sticks coach, because you know your side are capable of scoring goals.
Yeah, definitely, and as we saw from the stats, I mean, they've got into the circle 3 times and had 3 shots in comparison to Australia's 7-3, so they're definitely potent in attack, and as we've seen, they've got a great corner as well. So at this moment in time, it's game on.
Yeah, you think Australia can hold on here, Marsha?
Yeah, I think that's going to be another cat fight to see who's going to come up on top.
Beautifully put, a cat fight for the second half. Thank you very much indeed, Sarah and Marsha. Let's join our commentary team then for what is promising to be a very exciting second half. Here's Mel and Ashley Morrison.
Madonna Blythe just limbering up as if she's getting ready for a real stoush. So too Rachel Lynch. And the adrenaline pumping through the body. It will be the Black Sticks to push back. Get the second half and third quarter underway. Gemma Flynn goes back to Stacey Mickelson, lifts it out. Harrison, though, didn't bring it under control. And quickly played on is Claxton. Claxton driving forward. Cox tried to get that play on, was the call, and then it was a good attempted pass, but didn't manage to find Stewart. Can New Zealand find a way back in this match? These teams have played so regularly, and it's been a really tight tussle. McLaren hits it first time. Good block, though, coming from Soblowski. Carried forward now by Brooke Peris. His cousin Nova Peris, of course, won the first gold medal by an Aboriginal athlete. It was good to see Nova Peris supporting Brooke at the Darwin International Hockey Open. There were actually quite a lot of Olympians there, Mel. I think at one time there were 9 Olympians at the games up in Darwin.
Oh, it's fantastic and great to see such support for the Hockeyroos, and I'm sure there's plenty of memories and plenty of stories that were flying around at that Darwin event.
It's a horrible time, though, as we've been talking about off-air, on-air. 16 players going, and that is it. Australia have had a couple of players that you would have thought would have been almost shoo-ins. Ash Nelson and Kelly White injured their knees, done ACLs, and so they're completely gone. And you always feel for any player that's injured because they'll never know now whether they were going to go.
Yeah, and I think in Ashley Nelson's case, it's the second time that it's happened to her, and you're absolutely devastated for her. I mean, she's fantastic to watch, and she's been obviously a great player for the Hockeyroos, and you just hope that it's not going to be the end of her career and that we'll see her again.
Fires it across, sorry to interrupt. And once again, New Zealand are struggling at the back. Good work by Liz Thompson, though. And eventually, it's cleared. You mentioned that Kelly White, that's her third, and she missed London with the same injury just before, so our heart goes out to her.
It's just awful. I think, you know, any selection, whether it's, you know, World Cup or Commonwealth Games, Champions Trophy, you can deal with not being selected because the Olympics, everybody knows, is the ultimate and it's the pinnacle. And it's hard enough to not be selected at this particular stage, but to be injured and ruled out so cruelly and, you know, almost innocuously is really, really harsh.
Kept in play well. Australia trying to get a third goal. There's a little bit of a push and a shove at the top of the circle. Not surprisingly, a penalty corner as we saw Claxton go into the turf. I think the umpire's got that absolutely right. There was a push.
You can see the hand. You can see the hand on the back by Gemma Flynn. I think what Claxton does really well is she just gets in front of Gemma Flynn as the ball's coming across. Probably 6 of one and half dozen of the other, but the moment you put a hand on the back, you're asking for trouble, and you know.
Just about to say that the minute the hand goes on the back, you cannot complain. So Kenny and Morgan wait. Smith and Nanscorn will do the stopping. Another shift from Kenny. Goes to Kenny. Good stop by Smith. Swept towards the goal, deflected. For New Zealand, it came off the Australian foot. So Rutherford with a good save again.
Jodie Kenny going for pretty much the same corner. It wasn't trapped as well as the one that she scored from. But it's good to see quick reactions in by Kirsten Dwyer.
Now it's Kirsten Pearce at the other end trying to find a way through the Australian gold shirts. Into the foot, free hit to New Zealand. Penalty corner given. Just wondering what that was for.
Just saying there's a deliberate kicking away of the ball. Oh, there.
Oh, well, then she's absolutely right.
Absolutely spot on. I thought initially it was the ball where Smith had come in to make the tackle and it hit the foot, but no, absolutely spot on.
Yep, I didn't see the second little kick. Well done, Stephanie Judefine. New Zealand really do need a goal. Thompson and Neal have come forward. Thompson at the first battery, Neal at the second. Neal would be the favourite, and she's just shifted slightly. Comes to Neal, lifts it high. It's just off the stick, I think, of Gemma Flynn. It must have been a defender's stick, so it's a
Jodie Kenny. Jodie Kenny on the goal line. Or was the post player, I think.
Desperation from the Australian players, and in particular Donna Blythe leading from the front. The amount of shirts in front, there's just no way round.
Yeah, off the top of Jodie Kenny's stick. I think it's a fantastic line that's run. I think it's by Claxton as the #1 runner.
Smith with a really good run inside the circle. Yes, though, was the player penalised in the end, so another attack comes to naught for the Black Sticks. Mark Hager, a little bit perplexed for a moment, but now shouting instructions to his players. Claxton again does well to get ahead of Kettle. Webster snapping at the heels. Comes to Edwina Bone. Bone going wide again. Kettle getting a good touch, just pushing the ball over the side. Bone has to self-pass. There were no other options, really, and Webster, stick was loose in her arm, managed to trap the ball. Now it's Gemma Flynn. Gemma Flynn hits the turf. No foul against Kirsten Dwyer. That's what she was looking for. Emily Smith is dispossessed, top of the circle. Mickelson now breaks forward for New Zealand. Looks to feed the ball into the path, and it gets all the way through to Olivia Merry. And Merry looking to get the better of Madonna Blythe. Madonna Blythe was appealing for the free hit. So number 6 New Zealand's Petrea Webster has got a green card.
I think it was a long time ago. I think it was again Claxton was driving through and there was a stick tackle. I'm not sure Frances Block knew what the number was initially, but you could hear the conversation between the two.
Petrea Webster will have a couple of minutes on the side. And that's the trouble for New Zealand at the moment. They're just not getting any momentum. Even when they do manage to break forward, that card breaks it up again.
Yeah, and it forces the coaches and the players to have to readjust their structure and their team shape. And one thing Mark Hagar said in his half-time interview was that he felt that his players weren't playing to a structure. Very difficult to do that if you don't have the 11 players on the field.
Oh, very true. Mark Hagar. Maybe someone's listening to your comments, Mel, and they're just telling him about them. Mark Hagar, of course, in 1992 won a 4th place at the Olympics, 80-81 bronze. Broken forward, Sophie Cox. Shot comes in. Give it away. Kristen Dwyer doing well. It was actually 92. Mark Hager was injured actually at the Olympics. 96. Injured his foot, broke a bone just before the tournament started. Perez plays on. Goes driving along the baseline, but just pokes the ball over. Although it did take a touch off a New Zealand stick. Bone trying to fire it in. King got a good touch that just stopped it. Merry can't bring it under control, and Perez involved again. It's scrappy around the edge of the circle before McLaren brings it under control for the Black Sticks. Forced to go backwards. Turn from Ella Gunson. New Zealand are back to their full quota of players, with Petrea Webster coming on further up the pitch. Spin, Sophie Cox keeps the ball in play. Runs up McMahon, feeds the ball further to Flynn. In fact, it's Harrison. Harrison, though, trying to get the better of Dwyer. It's a long corner for her efforts. Is this the moment New Zealand can pull level? They need to create something.
They've just not been given the opportunity, I guess, the space to play in. I think Australia realised, as they've said, that New Zealand's counter-attack is where their biggest threat.
That's good skill from Kelsey Smith, although she's the player penalised. She seems to be the spark. Whenever she's on the ball, there's something happening.
Yeah, I think it's great to see her sort of picking up on a mistake by McMahon. Not really sure if she was going to blow it up. I think it should have been blown earlier, because it almost felt as once she was in the circle and had that opportunity to get the shot away, the whistle went.
New Zealand forward again. Webster was lurking. Luckily, though, for Australia, Sablovsky realised and got it over the baseline. It'll be a long corner. Casey Sablovsky, who has announced she will retire after the Olympic Games. Drilled in, good block by Madonna Blythe at the top of the circle. Now she lifts the ball forward into space for Georgie Parker to run onto. Parker's kept it in play. Great first time pass. Stewart with just Rutherford to beat. Rutherford's done well. Stewart recovers, puts it into the roof of the net. It's another international goal for Grace Stewart. But what a pass from Georgie Parker. Caught the defence square with the first time, and Stewart scores at the second attempt.
Absolutely fantastic running by Georgie Parker. I wondered whether she was going to get on the end of it or not, but how simple was that from Australia? One end to the other in 3 passes. Rutherford does well there initially, but just can't clear away from the smother. If it wasn't Grace Stewart that was going to be put it in, I think it was Emily Smith that had also made up a massive amount of yardage to get up there and support. Tried to do the right thing there, Grace Stewart, and go round. Didn't quite work for her, but Rutherford wasn't too far away. But this is, you know, by far probably pass of the day.
Outstanding pass from Georgie Parker, playing her 98th game for the Hockeyroos tonight. She will hopefully get past the 100 mark in this tournament. What a finish. Grace Stewart, just 19 years of age, and this is her 18th match and her now 9th goal. So she's a goal every other game, which is just what you want from your forwards.
And I think it's fantastic to see her being given that opportunity. And I think, you know, I said in the pre-show, it's something that Australia have always done. They recognise a talent, and they give them the opportunity. And when you're surrounded by the experience of Madonna Blythe and Nan Scorn, Emily Smith, it's almost easy for you to sort of almost fit in and feel like you can play your normal game.
Now it's Perez, feeds it to Mariah Williams. She's free on goal. Rutherford comes out, good save. Rebound comes back, though, into... It was actually Smith, not Mariah Williams. I was getting excited there. So Emily Smith, it rebounded into her, but it will be a penalty corner because that was dangerous.
I know it's not your fault.
I'm really surprised here, actually, with Emily Smith and the quality that she's got, that she didn't try and do more to move Sally Rutherford. She's come in and she's even, you know, she's not changed her angle once she's picked the ball up. It's just 1 touch, 2 touch. Now's your moment to move the goalkeeper. She doesn't. She just goes for absolute brute force. And unfortunately for Rutherford, she's made the save, but it's deemed dangerous, and it's the corner to the Hockeyroos.
Sablovsky's made her way down to the baseline. Kenny and Morgan wait again at the top of the circle. They stick with Kenny. No, they go with Morgan this time. Stopped by Smith. Goes back to Kenny now. Ricochets. Harris couldn't get the shot away. It's still alive, though, for Australia. Comes to Grace Stewart. Deflected away. Now Morgan. Lifted across the pitch. Brought down by Smith. Trying to weave her way in. McLaren snapping at her heels, trying to get the ball away from her through the legs. Only one player really forward for New Zealand. Pearce just pushing it into the path of Cox. That's good. Flynn does well to bring it under control. Now it's McLaren with Nanscorn snapping at her heels. McLaren has the pace, fires it across, back post, and just couldn't get the touch. What a run that was by Pearce, though. She was involved at the beginning.
First time really we've seen Anita McLaren coming through the midfield in space, and Gemma Flynn on the first post, and then Pearce on the back. trying to give it absolutely everything to get a second goal on the board for New Zealand.
They really need one before the final break, you feel, if they're going to get anything out of this match. New Zealand were beaten yesterday in their game against the Netherlands, lost 6-2, so they're bottom of the pile. The draws will help them, the fact that some teams managed to get draws in their opening game, but they really need a win today.
I think any team in this tournament, they're just itching for that first win.
Good steal by Mikkelsen. What a tackle that was by Madonna Blythe, just as Gemma Flynn was about to shoot. And then Olivia Merry, from the top of the circle, just wide.
Absolutely brave by Madonna Blythe there. Charlotte Harrison again, she's had probably the best opportunities for the Black Sticks. And then Olivia Merry, she normally pops up with the odd goal against Australia.
She certainly does. Now it's Mariah Williams, just thwarted. Good tackle from Thompson. Mr. Thompson again. Just a miscontrol from Gunson. Reaching the final 2 minutes of the third quarter. Talking about Grace Stewart, she was also a very talented touch football player representing New South Wales, so obviously a pretty good athlete all round. Nanscorn comes in off the side and gets there ahead of Sophie Cox. Cox didn't even see her or hear her coming, I don't think. Madonna Blythe, though, drills the ball forward, and there was no way that Dwyer was ever going to get on the end of that one.
I think that last little pattern of play really epitomises the game. There's no reason for Georgia Nanscorn to have beaten Sophie Cox to the ball, and she did, and it's just New Zealand seem to be waiting for the ball to come to them, whereas Australia, are trying to make it happen.
Circle penetrations 11-9, but where it matters on the scoreboard, New Zealand haven't turned those into opportunities or goals. Australia have.
I think the difference has been shots on target. You know, yes, we saw the statistics there, it's 7-7 on the shot count, but actually I would argue, in fact, that Rachel Lynch in goal probably hasn't had to make a save.
Just trying to remember if she has, yeah. Miscontrol. Mikkelsen is not able to get the ball under control with the first touch. Zablowski goes back to Kenny. Webster looks to close down. Harrison did well to get a stick on it, but Smith couldn't bring it under control, and now it's Nanscorn again involved, working her way forward. Clever pass again, good lead coming from Georgie Parker. See another card. Kelsey Smith is the player who's going to have to go and sit on the side now. She got a yellow card, 5 minutes on the side, so she's going to miss the first 5 minutes pretty much of the final quarter. Zablowski drills it forward. It looks to get through to Nanscorn, but has gone, and now to the hooter goes, and that is the end of the third quarter. The coaches come down to talk to their players for the last time. Adam Commons, you think, would be very pleased with the way things are going, because Australia lead New Zealand by 3-1. Is the one goal in this quarter, and it was a brilliant pass by Georgie Parker. Good save by Rutherford, but she couldn't clear it away, and a brilliant follow-up from Grace Stewart. Just 19 years of age, and she has so much composure.
It's absolutely phenomenal. I can see her almost fighting it out with Maria Granato for the young player of the tournament so far, because they really have been two standout players for their respective sides in Argentina and Australia. But that quarter really was dominated by the Hockeyroos. I feel, you know, New Zealand had moments, but they were, you know, 1 or 2 forays rather than actual keeping possession and sort of having any structural pattern to play. And being down to 10 players for pretty much 5 minutes of this quarter is going to make the job even harder for them to get back into the game.
We're going to go pitch side now, where Abby Griffiths has another guest.
Yeah, now I have been hearing Ashley in commentary has been saying that Adam Commons recognises your talent, recognises young talent and gives them the chance to shine. Wow, are you taking that?
Yeah, I'm just out there running hard, doing my best, and luckily the goals are going in the back of the net. So
How much to thank Georgie Parker for that pass, though?
yeah, a lot. Thanks, Parker.
Well done, keep it up.
Thank you.
Georgie Parker, one of the masters on Twitter. She'll no doubt be tweeting about that one. Well, she comes from the same town as the 100 Test girl today, Carrie McMahon. Georgie Parker coming from Berry as well in South Australia. New Zealand get us underway in the final 15 minutes, starting with just 10 players on the pitch. And they have it all to do to chase down a 2-goal deficit. Can they do it, Mel Clulo?
If they're going to, I think they need to get on the scoreboard as soon as they can in this quarter. And at the moment, from what I've seen in the first 3 quarters, they're not playing well enough, in my opinion, to get anything out of this game.
Not. I certainly think Australia's not letting them play well.
I think the match yesterday for Australia against the USA really surprised many. I think USA deserves some credit for the way that they played, but I think, you know, certainly Adam Commons was really disappointed with the way that Australia played, and I think you have to give them credit where credit's due. They've come out today, they've bounced back, and they've not really given New Zealand any chances in the game.
Adam Commons said pre-match he wanted to build quality and create opportunities. Well, his team have managed to do that today. Again, it's good pressure high up the pitch. There is Alison Annan up in the stand watching on. It's a long day. Just makes me a little bit hungry seeing that. Morgan brings it down, goes back to Kenny. A little miscontrol from her. Slofsky. Bone. Knocked over the side by Webster. Right up the pitch, but Madonna Blythe will get there ahead of Mary. Mary, good effort from her. Now there's a chance for New Zealand. It's 2-on-2. Cox. Mary's back on her feet. Got there really quickly. Cox runs wide. Mary picks up the ball, and I think she thought that Cox was going to run behind her and just slip the ball there. It comes to Cox. Waiting in the circle was Mickelson. Mickelson was getting ready to swing, and she didn't actually swing. Madonna Blythe not happy. Has been issued to Pippa Hayward just as she was going off. I'd like to see what that was for. And the one thing that worries me a little bit was how much the umpire was influenced by Madonna Blythe running towards it. Do you see anything, Mel?
No, I didn't, and I just, you know, I understand that there's a rivalry going on here between the continental teams, absolutely, but I do feel that they've gone to yellow card too soon, and it's almost ruining the game, because I haven't seen anything for me that's been worthy or warranted that card.
Mark Hagar is looking stunned. A sliding tackle in the middle of the pitch is the explanation why Hayward has received a yellow card for another 5 minutes. So New Zealand, 2 players down, and Hayward is stunned. I mean, that's the only way to describe her expression.
Yeah, normally you as a player know, oh, there could be a card coming here, but to see that kind of expression tells me that she doesn't even know what she's done wrong.
Now trying to break out, and it's going to be hard. McLaren has to go herself, close down now in a pincer movement. The Australian defence, ball goes off an Australian stick. McLaren did well to actually achieve that. Fires it into the circle. Cleaned up at the back, and now it's McMahon. Whistle goes again. apparently Australia complaining that New Zealand got 10 players. They've got 2 on the side, so there should only be 9 out there. And of course, if they had an extra player, then it means the captain has to go off. So that would be a 3rd player off for New Zealand. Mickelson helping it forward. Good anticipation coming from Kirsten Dwyer. Harris breaks forward, looking to slide a ball to the top of the circle. Helped across. Claxton helps it even forward. Slattery runs in, left the ball behind. Cleaned up in the end by Rosekettle. I think there's a lot of conversations going on the side that we're not privy to. Kelsey Smith, I think, seeing the funny side of it all. It'll be interesting to try and see that slide tackle again. Well, 1 has now been expired, so Kelsey Smith's card, they're now back to 10 players on the pitch for New Zealand. It's all happening here at the Lee Valley Hockey and Tennis. It's hard to keep up with it, Mel.
Absolutely. I think certainly with the second yellow card, it was the substitution at the time, which I think caused the confusion, which is why the Black Sticks had 10 players on the pitch.
Parker has brought the ball down in midfield, feeds McMahon. Australia continuing to try and find a way. Good deflection by Brooke Peris, good save by Rutherford. Australia still trying to find a way through. Kenny, and we've just been told that Pippa Hayward's card was for 10 minutes for that challenge, which seems crazy to me when we didn't even notice it, Mel.
I think it explains her expression.
So Australia have gone for a referral.
Block, you have a decision for you. There was a New Zealand foot inside the D. You can give the penalty corner.
So Michelle Joubert has not even seen the replay.
Is that allowed?
It does come up, and I think hit the knee. I don't know the rules on the video referee, whether the video umpire has to actually see the replay to make a call. I would have thought she would. That's why she's there.
Is she sat in the? Is she in the stadium? I thought she was outside of the stadium. She must be here. Oh well. Correct decision was given. She may have reviewed it the moment that Emily Smith went over to have a conversation with Frances Block. So whilst it hasn't come up onto our screens,
that's what we've just heard in my earpiece happened. So dragged towards the goal by Dwyer, goes up in the air. There's so much happening here, it's hard to keep track. And that's a good ball forward. New Zealand trying to find a way through, but brilliant tackle again by McMahon, and now it's Harrison who's penalised for holding on. New Zealand running out of time. There is, goals do come thick and fast. Drilled across, good interception from Soblowski. Feeds it to Madonna Blythe. It's alive again as Pearce desperately tries to get there. Brilliant play once more to bring the ball out of defence by Australia. Hanscorn plays it forward to Mariah Williams in space. Williams along the baseline. Williams tries to draw the keeper. A stick check and a penalty corner has been given to Australia. That was a good advantage played by the umpire, Frances Block.
Oh, it's fantastic speed by Mariah Williams here, always checking over her shoulder. Once she gets round Ella Gunson, it's a pretty ugly tackle, to be honest.
It's a pretty straightforward decision for the umpire. So New Zealand still with 10 players. Sablovsky makes her way to the baseline. Kirsten Dwyer has come forward. Jodie Kenny is at the first battery. Dwyer at the second. Goes to Kenny. Kenny sweeps. Good save by the first runner. Really took that, I think, on the shoulder. Well, that would have really hurt Petrea Webster.
It is such brave running. It's an unbelievable line that Petrea Webster's run, and we see it so often. It's a brave position to be in. You are literally putting your body on the line, but you're closing the angle down, so your number one runner takes one side of the goal, and the goalkeeper, in theory, takes the other one. And
she takes applause from the crowd. Decision went New Zealand's way because obviously it was lifted too high, and now it's deflected up into McLaren. She's amazingly all right as soon as the whistle goes and plays a good ball out onto the right-hand side. Cox trying to get away, but Nance steals it away, feeds it into the path. Good movement again, Mariah Williams, and Nance trying to get on the end of it, desperately racing back with Thompson. Merry, top of the circle. And we've got, that's Nance coming off in a bit of pain. It is indeed. Oh, we've had injuries, we've had controversy, we've had cards, we've had goals. Oh, followed through with the stick. No wonder she's in a little bit of pain. Thompson just going over the top of the ball. Needs to get some ice on that quickly. Great chance. Parker again with a good ball into the circle. So we're just hearing that it may have been mistaken identity with Pippa Hayward's card, and it should have actually been Olivia Merry that got the card. We may have some footage in a minute of the foul that we believe it was mistaken identity as Merry continues on her way. Again, it's Madonna Blythe comes across and snuffs out an attack while Nance receives treatment. Approaching the final 5 minutes. New Zealand need a goal if they're going to get something out of this match. Just lost inside the circle. Cox, brilliant defence coming across from Sablovsky. Sablovsky again involved. Looking for Nanscorn. Nanscorn, the player penalised for being within the 5 metres. Rose Kettle. New Zealand trying to get on with it. Paris wondering what she's done wrong. A little bit of a nudge from Rose Kettle on Nanscorn, but New Zealand still have the ball. Good pass from McLaren to Kettle. Kettle fires it into the D. Shot needs to come in. Merry's was blocked initially by a good block from Dwyer. Australia suddenly under a little bit of pressure. Into the circle it goes again. Fired across from Cox, saved by Lynch. Long corner, New Zealand.
They are under pressure, but I think their defence has been outstanding today, particularly the covers sort of help side, I guess it is. So the defender that's furthest away from the ball has been in absolutely brilliant positions to stop the New Zealanders from jumping in front and getting on the ball.
It's another free hit for New Zealand, but the ball was played away just by the dry patch on the pitch. Kettle with another good run, gets some space. Kettle goes past one, keeps going. Donna Blythe just getting a stick in the way and poking it over the base. Another long corner for New Zealand. Mickelson plays on, looks to try and feed it forward, but it's well intercepted, and now breaking forward was Emily Smith. Nanscorn in space, Parker surging up the middle. Nanscorn looks up, what's available, slides it in, but good recovery from Neal coming back and blocking that pass. Nanscorn self-passes, looks to take on Kettle. Nanscorn looking to drill it, the best she can get is a long corner.
It's just incredible to see with 3.5 minutes left on the clock. Australia have a breakaway and that they still managed to get 4 or 5 players up into the attacking circle. The players willing to put the effort in.
It's come across, just gone into the board outside. This is the challenge we believe that resulted in the card.
Yeah. I think if you go to ground and you don't win the ball, she takes the player first, then I agree it's a yellow card. Whether it's 10 minutes or not is for the umpires to decide, but it's definitely mistaken identity.
It is, so Pippa Hayward is going to have Olivia Merry buy her a drink tonight, I think. She's missed 10 minutes of the match, and Olivia Merry is still out there running around. Maybe a box of chocolates would be nice. Can New Zealand get a goal, a consolation goal? Mickelson again, moving it one way then the other, and Madonna Blythe just cleverly just poking it onto the New Zealander's foot.
She's played so much better today, Madonna Blythe, and you can almost see that as a result has given the Hockeyroos a lot of confidence.
Edwina Bone breaks forward, Slattery makes a good run, she goes towards the baseline. That was the pass that was intended. Bone then just plays it into the stick of Rose Kettle and wins a long corner. It's been a frustrating day at the office for New Zealand. Hagar won't show any emotion on the side, but he will, I'm sure, in the dressing room afterwards, as McMahon, playing her 100th, plays it in. Good deflection, takes it away. Now it's McLaren trying to get something started, but look at the desperation from the Australian players. McMahon winning the ball back, and again they go on the attack. Grace Stewart, though, the best she can do is get another long corner for her team. Nina Bone, who's been busy as well throughout the match, fires it in, took a deflection. Penalty corner given. Emily Smith jumped out the way. She's one of the shorter players in international hockey. The umpire's saying I had no choice, it was dangerous.
I think that's what you call clutching at straws.
I'm checking for you, Blocky.
Thanks.
So Michelle Joubert will be the one to make a decision.
No. Well, in my opinion, that is
Blocky,
not
no
dangerous.
clear reason to change your decision. Stick with your penalty corner and they lose their referral.
Thank you.
So with just over a minute left, New Zealand lose their referral. Worth a try, I'm sure. So Morgan and Kenny have another opportunity to add to Australia's goal tally. I still believe goal difference may be a big factor in this tournament, so a goal now could be just what Australia need to force their way into the final at the end of the week. And one of the New Zealanders had gone too quickly. Well, the ball almost seemed to be at the top of the circle by the time the whistle went.
But I think that's one of the things when you walk into it, then sometimes you as the #1 runner are a little bit twitchy, but I feel a bit for Stacey Mickelson there, if I'm honest. But we do have a replay.
We do. Comes again. They go to Kenny again. Slight shift. Hits the post, comes back into the keeper, and off Rutherford for a long corner. Well, finally New Zealand get a little bit of luck in this game.
Jodie Kenny's got hold of this one. Going opposite side, and she's almost hit where the two parts of the goal meet. It's come back out as fast as it's gone in. Again, it's a little shift at the top by the trapper, whether that's intentional or whether the injection came out wrong. If it's miscued, then it's probably cost her a second goal.
think it just caught the stick of Brooke Neal on the way through. We're in the final 30 seconds, and New Zealand are going to have to put this game behind them, I think. Just takes a deflection, definitely off Brooke Neal. Into the circle go Australia again. Stewart, there's another long corner. Australia want to get on with it quickly. They've asked the ball boy to roll the ball on. Good break from McMahon. There she goes reverse, the whistle's gone, and that is the end of the final match on day 2. Plenty to talk about in that game, and it is, though, a very good victory for Australia. New Zealand will feel it wasn't their day as they march off. They got back in the match after an early goal from Emily Smith. Anita McLaren converting a penalty corner. Then Jodie Kenny gave Australia the lead from a penalty corner. And then the young gun, Grace Stewart, and another goal to add to her tally. And she is proving a real danger to defences in